South Wales is the stage for a Saturday showdown of such significance in the battle for championship survival. Cardiff City started in the relegation zone, but just 2 points and 2 places behind visitors Stoke City. With this the first of 5 remaining fixtures they each have left this season to try and save themselves. Cardiff unbeaten in 4, but the last 3 of those games have all ended all square. They are battling certainly, but more is required if they are to get themselves out of trouble. Stoke City were so close on Tuesday night to giving themselves a more comfortable cushion, only to concede a late leveller against second bottom Luton. A considerable blow from which they have to try and respond today against opponents they've not beaten in the club's last 9 league meetings. 2 relegation rivals facing off in what is the very definition of a 6-pointer at this stage of the season. So much at stake in the South Wales sunshine. Cardiff start the afternoon in the drop zone, but they will finish it above their opponents in the table should they see off Stoke City, who equally have the opportunity to improve their own prospects immeasurably. Look how tight it is down there. There's 5 points now separating the bottom 8 as a result of Plymouth Argyle's victory over promotion-chasing Sheffield United a little earlier in the day. Luton took a point late on, 4 minutes into stoppage time against Stoke City in midweek. And Cardiff picked up what could be an important point of their own at Preston, twice coming back from behind in that game. Can they build on it here, back in front of their own fans, where they have struggled somewhat of late? This would be quite some time to return to winning ways in front of their own supporters. You've seen this side held by Sheffield Wednesday in the last home game, beaten by Luton in a big one just prior to that, and by Burnley. Since they saw Hull City in February by 1-0 have they won at the Cardiff City Stadium. So much at stake in this one, certainly. And really, at this stage of the season, it is about who can deal best with the pressure, who can dig the deepest. Both of them arrive in real need, but having become harder to beat. Stoke City unbeaten in 3, following a home win against Queen's Park Rangers, with a point at Preston, and that draw with Luton, which was so close to being so much more. Conceding only in stoppage time that Melenic Ali goal, which had Mark Robins in disbelief that his team hadn't got themselves over the line. They need to make it appear a better point, he says, with a win today. Something that Stoke City have found hard to come by in this territory, though. Not won any of their last 6 league visits to Cardiff since August of 2007. Haven't won any of the last 9 home or away in this fixture in league football. Stoke City have brought just under 2,000 supporters with them for a match of real magnitude. Here they come for a huge head-to-head contest at the Cardiff City Stadium, which comes with real consequence. Another chapter set to be scripted in this remarkable championship relegation battle, where the bottom 8 clubs are now separated by just 5 points. 2 of them are in direct opposition here in the Welsh capital. It's over 20 years since either Cardiff City or Stoke City resided in the 3rd tier of English football. They've both been Premier League clubs much more recently. But that is the unpalatable prospect they are currently scrapping to avoid, both hoping to land a sizable blow on the other today, when the stakes are at their highest. The first of 5 remaining fixtures for both. There are 4 changes to the Cardiff City side from that which started at Preston on Tuesday. There's also a change of shape, it seems, with Omar Ritza reverting to a back 4, possibly. Demetrius Goutas is the one to make way. Andy Rinamoto misses out with a back injury, so there's a timely return for Perry Ng after 2 games out. Alex Robertson, Callum Robinson and Lester Loney, Will Alves, fresh from his first goal for the club in midweek, all come into the starting lineup. Sivert Mansverk and Ruben Colwell drop to the bench, and where El Ghazi misses out with a back injury, whilst Jack Annick, Aaron Ramsey and club captain Joe Rawls are all longer-term absentees. Only the one alteration to the Stoke City side from their own midweek draw against Luton. That's up front, where Ali Al-Hamadi, on loan from Ipswich Town, comes back in place of Sam Gallagher, who'd started the previous 3 matches instead, but is back on the bench for this one. Lewis Baker has scored in Stoke's last 2 games. He has 5 goals in his last 8 championship appearances from a more advanced midfield role. Million Manhoef and Bae Jun-ho provide the attacking support from out wide. Illness has denied Stoke the services of defender Ben Gibson, who hasn't made the matchday squad. Robinson, one of those to return to the starting lineup, scorer of a dozen goals for Cardiff City so far this season. They brought him off the bench in the previous couple of games. Back in for a match of such significance. Referee Michael Salisbury has operated predominantly in the Premier League this season, but takes charge of his 6th championship game of the campaign, the most recent of which also involved Cardiff, when they lost 7-0 at Leeds United at the start of February. Both in their traditional colours today. Stoke City on their travels, but sporting those famous red and white stripes. How they need to dig deep. Just 1 win in their last 4 games, only 2 victories in their last 9 in the Championship. So despite that mini 3-game unbeaten sequence, they are still far too close to comfort to the relegation zone. A defeat today, they could well be in it. Showed fighting spirit in twice coming back at Preston despite a disappointing performance on Tuesday night. Held at Queen's Park Rangers last weekend as well, and here by Sheffield Wednesday prior to that. Can they turn 1 point into 3 today when it matters most? The difference it would make to Omar Itza and his side. Equally applicable to both. They are all set for the start. City to get the game underway. Here we go. The pressure weighing heavily on the shoulders of these 2 sides as we get ready for the start. Who can dig the deepest today? Who can deliver when it matters most? We are about to find out. Might not always be pretty today, given everything that is at stake. But it will be competitive, it will certainly be significant. Victor Johansson, one of Stoke City's standouts this season, captains the team, the goalkeeper. And releases it quickly to Eric Bocat. He's getting a little run in the side at left-back, 6th straight start in the absence of others. Under Stevens and Josh Wilson-Esbrand, both still sidelined, but both on the way back and hopeful of playing again before the season is out. This one kept in play by Bocat, tight to the touchline, and delivers a dangerous ball as well. Just nobody quite advanced enough to be able to reach it. There's work to do for Will Alves over on that far side as well, and it could come back at Cardiff City yet. There's Baker. Touch for Wouter Berger in midfield. And Hamadi on his return to the starting lineup, working it wide. Million Manhoef taking over. And Chamadou ahead of him, offering the option forward from fullback. It's a positive start from Stoke City. And the opening 90 seconds or so have settled the quicker. Ben Wilmot, house of Swansea City. There's the few boos that you might have heard when the ball came his way from the home fans. Ashley Phillips alongside him at centre-back. A teenager, a stalwart of this Stoke City side recently, starting a 20th consecutive championship game. There's the one low knee at the moment that has remained irregular in the starting lineup. Although Mark Robins has insisted he pays no attention to that sort of status when selecting his side. Here's Robinson. And carry through for Victor Johansson. Cardiff still have a player down at the end of that. It's Callum Chambers on the receiving end. One of their contenders for player of the season for the Bluebirds. Shortlist of 6 recently released, with the voting now open for the home fans. Chambers in his first season at the club since arriving on a free from Aston Villa. Started the campaign in the back line, has since switched into a more defensive midfield role. And he and Alex Robertson will have big parts to play today. Hamady the target, but too much on that for him. Through to Ethan Horvath. Regular goalkeeper since the season-ending hamstring injury suffered by Jack Annick in February. Hamady getting a foot in. Here is Bae Jun-ho. Touching there for Thompson. Berger will get it back from Phillips. Trying to hold off the attentions of Callum Chambers. Wilmot with the switch of play. Here's Manhoef. A real test of nerve today for these two, given the situation that they find themselves in. Hamady is going to reach this, and he has Bae Jun-ho in support. He's unselfish in squaring it for Lewis Baker, who can't find the finish when he did have a sight of goal. And he has been the form player for Stoke in front of goal recently as Baker. Aiming to make this his most productive season in front of goal in the Championship. Ali Al-Hamadi was unselfish in locating Bae Jun-ho in space. And Baker would have backed himself to do better. Blazes it over the bar when really well placed. He did have a clear sight of goal here. Big early opening for those from the Potteries. Scored the opener against Luton on Tuesday, and the equaliser at Preston from the penalty spot. Prior to that, 5 goals in his last 8 appearances in this division for Lewis Baker. He spent the first half of the campaign out on loan at Blackburn Rovers. Throws by the fit again, Perry NG. Returning on the right. It's a Cardiff ball. Timely return as well, with Renomoto missing today with a back injury. Baker back in the thick of things. Sets of supporters have been pretty pessimistic recently, the build-up to the game as Cardiff float this one forward. And it hasn't been dealt with. It nearly set up to be struck by Robinson. Dowda is the one that delivered and attempted to do so again. Salah with the touch. Now with Will Alves. This is Robertson. Little flick was by O'Dowda. The ball in was a dangerous one. Delivered by Chambers and returned too high. A real fish up from the back. But better from Cardiff City there. First sustained spell of pressure. He was comfortably clearing the crossbar as it landed on the roof of the net. Lovely little touch in there, wasn't there, from O'Dowda for Chambers to stand up the cross. The centre-back met it, still looking for his first Cardiff City goal since that summer move from Manchester United. That one runs away from Cian Ashford, making a 4th straight start. The Welsh under-21 international. He's been with the club since the age of 6. This group of players, this coaching staff, says Omar Ritza, determined to avoid being the ones to take Cardiff City down to the 3rd tier. There's the real danger right now. They haven't been there since 2003. Solitary Premier League seasons in 2013-14, 2018-19, most recently under Neil Warnock as well. 2002, the last time that Stoke City played in the third tier. They had a decade, of course, in the top flight. They came down from the Premier League the year that Cardiff City went up. It's been an underwhelming stint in the Championship since their return. 7th consecutive season back at this level, and they're yet to finish above 14th in the table. But the only priority for them this season right now is survival. And then they'll look to reassess the situation in the summer and go again under Mark Robins, who was brought in, of course, halfway through the campaign at the turn of the year. Long since involved in promotion playoff campaigns with Coventry City, finding himself in the thick now of this relegation battle. Already Stoke City's third manager of the season. Here is Youssef Salah. And Alves, an easy run. Shot blocked. Still the threat perhaps here with Robertson. Also blocked, back to Alves again. It was in more threateningly from Callum Robinson and cut out at the expense of the Cardiff City corner. After that strong start from Stoke in the opening minutes, it's the home team on top just at the moment. Looks like they've started to find their feet and impose themselves on the game, as the home fans will demand. Plenty packing the penalty area, packing the 6-yard box really as the Cardiff corner comes in. Robinson was lurking, it didn't quite get that far. Danger kept alive by Callum Chambers. And 3 times capped former England international, starting for the 8th game in 9 under Omar Ritza. It's Perrier-G. Robertson. Doubted to have a hit, plenty of power in it. Watch wide by Johansson, who wasn't quite required. Callum O'Dowda has stepped in as skipper in the recent injury absence of Joe Rawls. Looking to lead by example here. Goalkeeper knew he wasn't going to be required though, and it left the left boot of the Republic of Ireland international, Callum O'Dowda, in search of his 3rd goal of the season. Showed his versatility on that left-hand side all season long in a variety of different roles. Does look as though rather suspected they have reverted to the flat back 4 today, having played with 3 central defenders in the first half at least in midweek. Gutas was brought off at the break. He's the one that's missed out today, not involved in the squad. Bit of space for Bocat here for Stoke. Good ball in again. And Chamadou unable to apply the finishing touch. That was one full-back to the other in advanced territory. There's a couple of goals they've had at goal in the opening dozen minutes. The Frenchman with the teasing ball in from Eric Bocat. Hit by the Cameroonian Junior Chamadou, the furthest forward on that occasion. Just couldn't quite control it when it came his way. Looking to add to the goal that he got against Queen's Park Rangers at the end of last month, which was his first for the club. Robinson scrapping for that. Phillips got a foot in. Will be able to let it go. Back in the starting lineup today is Alex Robertson, the Australian international, who was signed last summer from Manchester City. His first appearance in the last 4 games came off the bench on Tuesday night, that they reportedly paid around £3 million for. To sign from Manchester City after last season's loan spell at Portsmouth in League One. There's Callum Chambers. Robinson able to take the touch. The big block denies the shot from going any further. Parry and G. Will Fish. He's had that one chance for Cardiff City already, the centre-back. He's become the regular at the back recently, 6th straight start. I'm certainly pleased to have Parry and G fit again. Missed the last couple of games. Back in training this week. He's always likely to come straight back in again. He wins it well in the air against Bae Jun-ho. Chambers underneath that one. Here's Robinson. Chambers is going to be beaten to it though, and this is the counter-attack for Stoke City. Al-Hamadi. Trying to take on Jesper Darland. And going down rather hopefully. And no more. Defender found himself in an awkward situation, certainly, though. Hamadi may be looking for it. Maybe he didn't help himself, but it was dangerous for Darland. And the home side, certainly. He came back into the starting lineup on Tuesday night. And they switched to the 3 centre-backs and has kept his place today. It was his first start since February. But Stoke City have certainly shown already how they can cause Cardiff concern. Straight up in the air from Ashford. Underneath it is Jordan Thompson for Stoke. Now Chamadu. This is Baker. To Million Manhoef. Baker's continued his run. Manhoef's held on to it instead. He's got to O'Dowda for company, trying to cut out the cross, and it carries through to the keeper. He missed a chunk of this season with a knee injury, Million Manhoef. He's returned at a timely stage of the season for Stoke City. They require their keeper and captain, Victor Johansson, to come and deal with that. Seems much that he has been one of their standouts, really, in the current campaign, the Swedish international, since they brought him in from Rotherham United. Championship ever present, the 8 times capped Victor Johansson of Sweden. On international duty just last month, actually, in the win against Northern Ireland. There is O'Dowda of the Republic of Ireland, on the less favoured right foot, unable to generate any sort of power with that one. Eleven clean sheets to his name in the Championship for Johansson this season. Can he help shut out Cardiff City today? They've become hard to beat recently, but Cardiff need a bit more than that right now. Only lost 5 of their last 19 games in the Championship, 3 of those, though, in the last 7 matches. Because they've always been playing catch-up, really, this season, having taken only 1 point from their first 7 games of the second-tier season. It's cost the former boss, Errol Bullitt, his job. Maritza taking over initially on an interim basis before being given the job permanently until the end of the season, back at the start of December. Stoke have lost out here. Robinson. This is Will Alves. It's in the mood to make something happen, maybe. Ho had space to deal with that, but his header wasn't particularly precise. So Cardiff will come again with Salah trying to get his shot away. That was by Chamadou. He's made a difference as the Dane, actually, Youssef Salah, since he joined from the Swedish side Sirius in January. Scored 5 goals in the Championship for Riza's team, become the first choice up front. And he's on that 6-player shortlist for Player of the Season, despite only arriving halfway through it. Tells you something about the difference that he's made in attack. He needs the service today. Goes back to Ben Wilmot, all the way back to Johansson. Jordan Thompson. He's actually up against his goalkeeper, Victor Johansson, in that aforementioned international between Northern Ireland and Sweden. And this Al-Hamadi is going to reach it. Those runs causing issues. He was looking for Ho. Good defending. Dealt with well by Perry and G. Wilmot. This is Chamadou. Hamadi dropping a little bit deeper. Lewis Baker. He's had Stoke's best chance so far. Finding Manhoef. Chamadou. Through for William Manhoef. Alves helping out his defence impressively there. Robinson able to reach it. Wasn't quite afforded the time to bring it under control, though. Doesn't get the free kick he wanted either. And Ho has it for Stoke City. Now back with Baker. Callum Chambers is with him. Real tussle going on between those two. Now Jordan Thompson. Manhoef back for Baker. Although Stoke are forced to retreat back into their own half to keep hold of it. Cardiff City working hard when they don't have it. Down to Berger. Ho wins the free kick. He was away on international duty last month, but it's full focus now on the fascinating conclusion to the Championship season. Manhoef looking for the run of Al-Hamadi. He's able to stretch and reach it. Darland is with him, though, and able to take it away from him. Just shown a bit too much of it by Ali Al-Hamadi. Was unfortunate there. And Dowda will clear for Cardiff. Both teams taking it in turns to have little spells in the ascendancy. This is Stoke City's right now. William Manhoef. Out by Fish. Berger battling for it, helped out by Phillips. Wouter Berger. Away by O'Dowda. Home fans getting a little restless that Cardiff can't keep hold of it when they do win the ball back briefly. Here's Ho. Useful spell of Stoke City possession, this. Through for Boquet. Ashford did well against him. Perry and G to Alex Robertson. This is where the home fans can have a part to play. They too, as well as their team, need to remain patient maybe today. The away support booed them off at half-time. in midweek at Preston, in which they twice trailed but rescued a point late on. Here's Kian Ashford. Giving Bocat plenty to think about. Bay was trying to help him out as well. Perry and G goes in field for Chambers. Dowder was wider to whip it in. Ashford met it. Without being able to significantly change the direction of the ball when it came his way. Put himself in a useful position with Kian Ashford. Because Stoke were a little preoccupied there dealing with the presence of Salah in the middle. Ashford got there first, but always stretching. Chamadou. All sorts of space here for Ali Al-Hamadi to come and collect it. Baker in support. Al-Hamadi had continued his run. He was looking instead for Million Manhoof, cut out by Jesper Darland. And he'll do rather more than that. He'll bring it clear as well, for the Norwegian centre-back, before overrunning it into touch. He dealt with the immediate danger. No signing for this season from Cercle Brugge in Belgium. Robinson has stayed down. His experience could be important in the run-in. Plenty of it in this division, certainly, for the former West Bromwich Albion player. Third season now with Cardiff, starting for the first time in almost a month since the win at Blackburn Rovers, which they hoped would kick-start a surge towards safety. They haven't lost since, but they haven't won either. 3 straight draws coming into this. Robinson remains down, as the coaching staff use the opportunity to pass on some observations and instructions early on. And they've certainly been put through it so far this season in South Wales, haven't they? And who knows how this campaign is going to end up. Today won't be decisive, but it will certainly be influential in the overall outcome. Looks like Robinson will be okay after treatment. And the travels again next Friday. Start of the Easter fixtures with a trip to promotion hopeful Sheffield United, who all of a sudden have lost 3 on the bounce, including earlier today against the team bottom of the lot in Plymouth Argyle, who have been closing the gap. They currently have Cardiff City in their side, certainly. Within 3 points of them. Cardiff behind Derby County, only on goal difference going into today. More pertinently 4 today, only 2 points, 2 places behind Stoke City. The team in their sights in every sense. There's nothing to separate them yet. Quite as intended from Jordan Thompson. He's making a 3rd straight start in the Stoke City midfield. He's been preferred more recently to the likes of Tetsuki Seko. Remains on the bench for this one. Ben Pearson an option for Mark Robins as well in that position. He of course didn't play this season until February after that hamstring injury. He's come off the bench in the last couple of games. So he has a stronger squad currently available than has previously been the case. Robins says too many key players have missed too much football this season, and once they get to the summer, hopefully with their championship status secured, he says, then they can assess just why, look into that a bit more. It's been a recurring problem. They've not been the only side suffering from it, though, this season. That is for sure. To an extent, it's been a problem as well for Cardiff City throughout the campaign. Omar Ritza recently has defended himself from accusations that he's tinkered too much with the team. saying it's not necessarily something that he wants to do, but needs must. His hand has been forced in that respect. He'd prefer a much more stable, settled side than he's been able to field. And such is the relentless nature of the Championship, he says. When he has kept the same side, it's tended to blow up and has cost him. Further injuries have been suffered. I won't see the likes of Rawls, Ramsey or the first-choice goalkeeper Jack Annick again this season. Rawls and Ramsey both out of contract as well at the end of the campaign. This is how it stands on a fascinating day at the bottom of the Championship, as Bae Jun-ho sets off in pursuit of that. No goals yet in the matches that really matter down there involving the bottom 8. Always going to be a really nervy sort of a day. What goes back to Victor Johansson. It's cut out by Fish. There's Ashford for Perry NG. They have the flexibility of changing shape to Cardiff City. NG can slot in a three-man defence, which will enable O'Dowda to get further forward as a wing-back rather than a left-back. There's Chamadou. Certainly Cardiff do have possession. It's been a back four. And he actually admitted, Omar Ritza, that he made the wrong call in midweek. He should have gone with the four-man back line rather than bringing in the extra centre-back as he did. Easy with hindsight, he says. Quickly back on his feet there was Robertson. Here's Robinson. Callum Chambers pressing and probing. Robinson again, deflected, but it actually took some of the sting out of the situation, maybe made it a bit more comfortable for the Swede Victor Johansson to gather that one up. Hamady does look maybe the most likely for Stoke City so far. He was initially brought out of the team with nursing a hip injury about 3 games ago, which is why Sam Gallagher was able to step into the starting lineup. Al Hamady brought off the bench in the last couple of games whilst managing that issue, but deemed fit enough to start today. A couple of goals since he signed on loan from Ipswich in January. He made 11 Premier League appearances, all of them off the bench in the first half of this season. Promoted, of course, from this division with Ipswich last season. Trying to help keep Stoke City in the Championship. Effectively, really, the replacement for Tom Callan, who scored 9 goals in the first half of this season on loan from Leicester, before he was recalled and sold to Sheffield United. He has been a big miss for the Potters. Hansen not troubled by that. That's a useful ball if Manhoef can reach it, and he will. It's well weighted into his path. Squaring up here to O'Dowda, and he's away from him. Al Hamady in the middle. Baker was calling forward as well. In some space, it didn't come his way. To the very vocal frustration of Lewis Baker. And Cardiff instead can come clear and maybe spark the counter-attack with Will Alves. Darland, Chambers. O'Dowda in support. In towards Ashford, who will get there. Couldn't quite capitalise. It's a good run from Kian Ashford. But Stoke City have some space now to operate in. Charge was led by Baker. Here's Bae Jun-ho. His progress was held up by Perry NG. And he felt he was fouled there, and the referee has now stepped in and given it. Kept busy as NG on his return to the team. Very much a regular when fit for Cardiff City this season. Will clear it away. 10 times capped USA international. Hamdi's touch was a heavy one. Back from Fish to his goalkeeper. And now Darland. O'Dowda. Callum Chambers. Alves will keep it in, tight to the touchline as he takes on Chamadou. Away by Bocat. Still so finely balanced, isn't it? I guess it was always likely to be thus today. And how closely matched they've been for most of the season. Fair few similarities in the seasons that they've had, these two sides. Both striving for the same aim at the end of it, to ensure they are a championship club once again next season. Perry and G fires it across. Chamadou getting the better of Alves in the air. Steps in again here. Experienced Premier League official. And Michael Salisbury. Took charge of Spurs against Southampton last weekend. 11 Premier League games this season. It's his 6th in the Championship. His attention has been drawn to something in the stands, I think. Possible medical emergency over there. Which is why we're going to have a little break in play. And some treatment can be administered if required. Which gives both teams a chance to take stock as well. Our thoughts potentially, understandably, elsewhere. That situation is attended to, and we can reflect on what we've seen so far. Neither team quite doing enough yet to get themselves on top today. Both have had little spells, haven't they, and they bossed the game. Stoke started strongly. They had the big chance early on for Lewis Baker that he put over the bar. He's probably the player they would have wanted on the end of it, in fairness. Had a clear sight of goal, couldn't make it count. Cardiff gradually began to impose themselves on the game as well. Set-piece opportunities, hinting at a potential route to a vital breakthrough goal that hasn't yet materialised. Will Fish's header landing on the roof of the net. Maybe the best chance that they have created so far. This was the one that I was mentioning over Baker. Al-Hamadi and Bajan-Ho both involved. Big chance, wasn't it, for Lewis Baker? And they know it. How significant that could have been in the early stages of the game, particularly given the prevailing mood of pessimism perhaps in these parts. That was the Will Fish header, just too high. After Callum Chambers had stood up the cross. If we're looking the likelier at this stage, but that was always just watched wide by Victor Johansson. When Callum O'Dowda struck it, not quite found the quality yet, have they? In the final third, Cardiff City, it's been a recurring theme. And that was a chance as well for Chamadou. Somewhat in isolation by that point for Stoke City, but the fullback, Junior Chamadou, was the furthest forward. It was one fullback to the other, actually, because the ball in was a good one from Eric Bocat. And the Cameroonian couldn't quite capitalise. So openings at either end already. neither have been able to make the most of those moments. Referee Salisbury just waiting for the OK to get the game going again. And let's hope that he does get some good news from the stands to be able to do so. This will just extend the first half drama further once we do get going again. It's the third meeting between the clubs of the season already. The other two have ended all square, although Cardiff City did win on penalties at Stoke in the fourth round of the FA Cup. After a 3-3 draw between the clubs, Ruben Colwell, who scored twice in that game. In fact, he opened and finished the scoring, also with the decisive contribution in sticking away the winning penalty in the shootout. Seko and Rose have both been thwarted for Stoke City. 2-2 it finished in the Championship meeting in the middle of December at the Bet365. Between them, Ben Gibson with a stoppage-time equaliser, having earlier scored an own goal in the same game. He's missing today because of illness, by the way, having recently forced his way back onto the bench after a period out of the Stoke City squad. Cardiff unbeaten in the last 9 league meetings between the clubs. You have to go back to February of 2020 for the Potters last taking maximum points in the fixture. And a 2-0 home win. Even further back, August of 2007 for the last time that they won away at Cardiff, at their old Ninian Park home. Never done so here. It would be quite some time to start though, wouldn't it? He's got quite a bit to think about as Mark Robins at the moment. He hoped this situation wouldn't materialise. And he took the job halfway through the season, but was fully aware that it might. And it's all about holding their nerve and getting the job done. It looks like the players may well be coming off here for a moment. Been waiting to see if they could get the game restarted in short order, but it would appear not. And this delay may be a lengthier one than we were initially anticipating. Salisbury will be waiting for word himself before making a more conclusive call, but the teams are heading for the tunnel because of that medical emergency in the stands. Doctors from both clubs were called over, and the game is on hold for now whilst treatment continues. All the games today in the Championship that kicked off when this one did are at half-time, but we are almost ready to restart this one after the delay. A challenge for both sides to pick up where they left off and impose themselves again. We restart with the drop ball. Just to reiterate our best wishes with the supporter involved. Hopefully will be okay. It does look, as I say, more promising. So 12 more minutes to play of this first period. G with the throw. And flick on was by Youssef Salah. Here's Robinson. Dr. Berger and Jordan Thompson doubled up on him. He goes back to the goalkeeper. Johansson will clear it. Nearly came for Baker, still might, and it does. Trumped invitingly in the end for Lewis Baker. Back from Thompson. Ashley Phillips on halfway takes over. Here's Burkat. Continued his run. Rashford trying to go with him. Ho will just get there first, keeps the danger alive. Further defensive work for Kian Ashford to do up against the South Korean. Here's Bocat in support. Wouter Berger, looking for Baker, reaching it just, but unable to find a way beyond Ethan Horvath. Continues to put himself into some promising positions, does Lewis Baker for Stoke City. G will get the decision there. The frustration of Jordan Thompson, but I think he knew it was always likely to go against him. Stoke City improve their form outside of the Potteries. That's what they have to do to move further clear of relegation trouble. They've only taken 1 point from the last 5 away games in the Championship. That came in the last one at Preston. Will Alves for Cardiff City. England under-20 international on loan from Leicester City. The goal that he got against Preston on Tuesday was the first senior goal of his league career. Scored Cardiff's first equaliser in that 2-2 draw. He's still only 19. Had that serious injury that kept him out for the best part of a year. Just with the Premier League side. He did sign a new 4-year Leicester City contract at the start of this season. Made his Premier League debut off the bench against Manchester City in December. His Cardiff debut came at Stoke in the FA Cup in that 4th round tie. There's the tussle that continued between Youssef Salah and Ashley Phillips. He's back to his feet more latterly. Got the decision, and it may require some treatment by the looks of things here. You can see why. It'll take a little bit of patching up. And a further delay to proceedings whilst Ashley Phillips is attended to. Sense the tension around the stadium. It was always going to be the case today, given everything that is on the line, everything riding on the outcome. So little margin for error at this stage of the season. Both sides have had precious little to shout about, really, over the course of the campaign in its entirety. They've both had spells of good form, but haven't been able to sustain them long enough to ensure a more comfortable conclusion to the campaign. It's likely to go to the wire, and their battle to stay up. So many parallels, really, between them. Phillips has to go off before he can come back on again. Another lengthy stoppage, which will further extend the 12 additional minutes because of that medical emergency earlier. Al-Hamadi wins the free kick in dangerous territory. A little bit rash, wasn't it, when the challenge came in from Robertson. Baker might fancy it. Julian Manhoef is the other player in the vicinity at the moment. Look for Horvath to do, to organise those in front of him, to try and get his angles right. This has the feeling of a major moment in the match. Plenty hoping to profit, packing that penalty area in red and white. Going to be left for Manhuth to take it, and he does clip it in. Only partially cleared though. Oh! Thumps back off the frame of the goal. Jordan Thompson, who struck it, really unlucky. Still the danger may be. Manhuth once more taking the ball from Bajan Ho without being able to profit from it. Chamadou steps in to win it back. Now Bocat. Wouter Burger. Wilmot had stayed forward, and that was an important touch actually from Perry NG. Takes it behind for the corner, but he couldn't take the risk. Let's have a look at this one again. Not a bad clearing header initially, but it sat up for Jordan Thompson to strike it. Took a touch on the way through as well. There was absolutely nothing that Horvath could have done. And he's spared by the frame of his goal. Mightily relieved to see that one bounce back into play again. But still further work for his defence to do as the corner comes in. And it still hasn't been dealt with. Held back goalwards and gathered up this time on the stretch by Horvath, who will release it quickly. Phillips back in the thick of things after that period of treatment on the sidelines. A new shirt required as well. He was trying to make something of that. Jordan Thompson is still without a goal this season. He's only managed a couple last season as well. So close to maybe separating these sides at the interval. He's still a little way off yet. It's given away pretty carelessly. Charging into space is Kian Ashford. Wilmot, who was the player that surrendered possession, is the one that just about got back. Here's Robertson though. Now Chambers. Brings O'Dowda into it. Wider is Will Alves. Chambers. Perry NG had stayed forward. In fact, he was the furthest forward there, and he did have plenty queuing up in blue in the middle as well, and was possibly, I think, trying to return it their way without quite being able to do so. It's a well-timed run. Not a bad ball in either. He utilised his presence, but he just couldn't quite steer it back for Robinson. That was the one that was required, really. Away by Johansson, decent distance on that. Chambers gets a foot in, up against Al-Hamadi. O'Dowda facing his own goal. We'll guide it back for Horvath. Now Alves, just run away from Callum Robinson, cut out by NG. There's Darland. Robertson. That was a little late, but the ball had already gone. Kian Ashford has it, taking on Bocat. Now the referee will pull it back because no obvious advantage materialised, and he had, of course, spotted the earlier challenge. Fish wanting to take it quickly, but not permitted to do so from there. Instead, he will venture forward. It's Robertson to take it. In place of Sivert Mansverk in that Cardiff City midfield this afternoon. Hoist it in, that's the questions. Stoke have the numbers back to deal with that. Then Chamadou goes down. He will get the decision right in front of the referee. But the stop-start nature of the contest continues. This is blocked off, having reached it first was Chamadi. Stoke wanted further action taken there by Michael Salisbury. It has not been forthcoming. It might just come down to one moment to separate them today. Judging on the evidence of what we've seen so far. Just about be a better point for Stoke City if it were to end all square, but there's so much still to come in this story, and there is now a yellow card. With Jesper Darland down, it's brandished, I think, in the direction there of Ali Al-Hamadi. His name is the first name taken by referee Salisbury this afternoon. This is why. Clear contact, although he was looking the other way at the time. Does make the way that he likes to play a little trickier from here on in. And Wilmot rising highest. It's miscued. And that will be belatedly after the delay half-time in South Wales, and there's still nothing separating them. Jordan Thompson, though, coming so close for Stoke City late in that first half with the effort that came back off the bar. They'd had a big chance for Lewis Baker prior to that as well. Cardiff haven't quite been able to get Yousef Salah into it. His battle with Ashley Phillips has been one to watch and looks to be continuing as the teams head for the tunnel here. So fiercely fought, with so much at stake as it was always going to be today, but there is nothing to separate them at half-time. At the break at the Cardiff City Stadium, it remains Cardiff City 0, Stoke City 0. Taken to hospital for further treatment, so our thoughts with them. And on at the interval comes Sam Gallagher in place of Ali Al-Hamadi for Stoke City. A change up top as Cardiff wait to start the second period. So much riding on this second half for both of these sides and their seasons. Of nerve, a test of character, everything that applied at the start equally so as we get the second period off and underway. A little later than elsewhere, of course, in the Championship. This such a significant fixture down at the foot of the standings. Stoke making that change at the interval, a reversal of the only change actually that Mark Robins made to his starting lineup from midweek. Gallagher on for Al-Hamadi, whose place he had taken. Al-Hamadi was yellow carded late in the first half, but had been heavily involved in the story. So Gallagher, who'd started the previous 3 matches, is on in his place. Somebody that Mark Robins recently has advised to try and stop throwing himself around quite so much in an attempt to safeguard his fitness, because he's another, like so many in this squad, that has been sidelined for spells of the season so far. And they're likely to need him for the run-in. Chamadi with a throw. Here's Million Manhoof. Back to Ashley Phillips. Took that play to the face in the first half, but required some treatment as well. Sides disciplined enough defensively so far. Cardiff have only kept 1 clean sheet in their last 7 games in the Championship, in that goalless draw at Queen's Park Rangers a week ago. Trying to provide a platform to build on, Omar Ritz's team today. Stoke haven't stopped the opposition scoring in any of their last 4 games. They've done so 11 times in total this season in this division, and they come forward with intent here with Lewis Baker. Options either side. This is Manhoof. Gallagher is targeted as that's bent in and actually came off the Cardiff head. And didn't miss that far post by much, off Will Fisher behind. To the expense of the corner and no more. Even Horvath would have had his heart in his mouth for a moment here. Whose cross shot really was aimed, I think, towards Gallagher. And may well have reached him, actually, had Fish not got something on it. Well, the goalkeeper had started to come to try and claim it as well. Between them, they do breathe a real sigh of relief, but still the threat from the corner kick. Which is a deeper delivery. Gallagher was the one rising, didn't quite get the contact required. We'll keep the pressure on here. Up against Jesper Darland this time. Eventful start to his afternoon, having been summoned from the bench at the break. Through the contract he signed last summer when arriving from Blackburn Rovers, Sam Gallagher. He's managed just the 6 starts all season. Half of those, as I mentioned, in the last 3 games. 3 goals so far since his arrival in the Potteries. To give chase here. He's beaten to it by Ben Wilmot, who had enough of a head start on him. O'Dowda waiting to take this. I think get decent distance on these. So that is the obvious target really up front, but there are plenty in advanced positions in the penalty area for Cardiff City here. In from Callum O'Dowda. It's a good one. Hasn't been dealt with at all, but the whistle has gone against Darland before he can do anything with that. Stoke survived the scare. There's quite a lot going on in there. Down went Page-and-Ho, which is the reason why the referee stepped in and gave the free kick. Darland yet to score for Cardiff City. Nearly a year since his last goal, which came full circle, Brugge against Anderlecht in the Belgian top flight. And nearly for Callum Chambers. And still the danger is Will Alves. This is Robertson. Able to wrestle away through. Instead, Manhoef comes with it. They take the shot on, didn't really catch it. Not as he needed to anyway. He covered good ground. It's not the end product. He does have a goal threat. The Dutchman, 4 in the Championship, 6 for the season so far across all competitions. He's allowed to continue advancing to tempt him into the shot in the first place. And wide it goes. Scoring the win against Queen's Park Rangers at the end of March, also on target against Blackburn, Norwich City and Plymouth so far this season. He did miss him when he missed those 10 games earlier in the campaign with a knee injury. William Manhoef. It's a miscued clearance from Phillips. Berger was under pressure when it came down, and Chambers was underneath it. Comes through for Robinson here. Up far side. Cardiff unhappy about the challenge on Callum Chambers just prior to that. That's how it currently stands. A point from safety right now. City not in action until a little bit later in the weekend, though. And I believe Derby went in front at Portsmouth, have just been pegged back, so it's going to change again. What a difference a goal at either end here this afternoon would make to the picture. Jordan Thompson was so close to providing it late in that first half. Getting back, just getting in front of Kian Ashford as he needed to. run in the side now, isn't he, the Welsh under-21 international. Don't score actually for his country at under-21 level against Sweden last month. Joined for Cardiff City at the age of 6. He's starting a 4th consecutive game in the Championship, being trusted by Omar Ritza when it matters most at this stage of the season. Hansen clears that one away. It's going to break favourably here for those in red and white. Miljan Manhoef will reach it. Never quite able to catch out the keeper from there, though. Horvath down to make the save, to shut the door. Perry and G. Garland to O'Dowda. Longer, and Youssef Salah will set off in pursuit of that. Hansen had more than enough of a head start, but a little panicky in the manner of the clearance. They're really being put through it on the touchline today, aren't they? And they would have expected nothing less from a game like this one. Here's Callum Robinson. Alves. This is Will Alves, that's deflected, flash just in front of Robinson. Through to Johansson, who, as it turned out, wasn't extended, but any sort of a touch on the way through, and it might have been a different story. He releases Bae-Jun Ho. Jordan Thompson to Eric Bocat. They'll be back in front, by the way, at Portsmouth. That is huge. Another of the big head-to-head battles down at the foot of the Championship today. Walter Berger steps in, finds Wilmot for Stoke. Bocat just overruns it. Robertson coming under pressure. Nice weight of ball though for Kian Ashford. He's got a bit of room in which to work here. Ashford whips in the cross for Cardiff. Cut out and bundled behind. All in the same moment by Ashley Phillips. To settle for conceding the corner. Kian Ashford asking the questions for Cardiff. As home fans behind that goal, finding their voices as well right now, as their team step up the pressure. G is up from the back. Will Fish is up from the back. Jesper Darland as well. He was into a good area, but it was Gallagher who rose the highest of all, getting his head to it for Stoke. Still the danger back in by Chambers. Away it goes again, this time as far as Callum O'Dowda. Everyone has stayed forward, but that's a little overhit. Salah scrapping for it with Chamadou, and he will reach it first. Well, the Dane up top for Cardiff City. Alves in field. O'Dowda to set himself. Well, not quite at the end of that. Will Fish again. He's the one who met it. Again, he couldn't trouble the target with it. End of 2023 when he scored his last career goal on loan from Hip anyway. He spent a couple of seasons in Scotland on temporary deals from Manchester United. We're going to see a Cardiff change here. Callum Robinson coming off. This part is played before the hour. A relatively early end to his afternoon on his return to the starting lineup, and it's David Turnbull who will replace him, making his way back to fitness. Used on the bench for the last couple of games, having come on in the 2 matches prior to that. 5 times capped Scotland international. So just over a year ago from Celtic. He's had a frustrating season, punctuated by a lengthy period of inactivity because of injury. Missed 19 games in the Championship with a hamstring problem, but he is on for what remains today. The side have a free kick in Stoke City territory, which Alex Robertson again stands over. So Derby County, the big movers at the moment. From 21st to 18th as it stands, above Portsmouth, having gone in front again at Fratton Park. Oxford United ahead at Sheffield Wednesday as well, also making ground. Eyes on the importance of what remains for these two. So Robertson forward from the free kick. By Bae-Jun-ho. Robertson meeting it, couldn't quite return it as intended though, and has to hurry back again because Manhoef is on the move here for Stoke City. He was in full flight before Ng stepped in to stop it. Importantly. Wouter Burger. Just over the head of Gallagher. Clearance from Darland. Nearly fell for Chamadou. He was still scrapping to make something of that, but it's gone against him. He's covered a lot of ground, hasn't he, down that right-hand side, Junior Chamadou today. The four-times Cameroonian international, London-born. Last represented his country at the Africa Cup of Nations at the start of last year. He's played every minute of their last 7 and a bit games now in the Championship. He's only missed 4 all season, the former Colchester player. Out by Phillips. Returned by Chambers. Back though for Ashley Phillips. He knew what he was doing, I think, there. Found himself a little out of position, so tried to buy himself a bit more time. And has gone into the book as a result of that. I don't think he can have too many complaints, really. The referee has attempted to be lenient today, but it was rather blatant from Phillips. Hamady was booked late in the first half, didn't reappear for the second period, and has been joined in the referee's notebook now by the on-loan Spurs centre-back, as O'Gowda takes the throw. Distance down the line. Salah helps it on. Clearances by Wouter Burger. Fishes underneath it. And a chase on for Perry and G to reach it ahead of Bae-Jun-ho. Kept just reaching it before Kean Ashford did. We still have over half an hour of this. This test of nerve continues, and the stakes are only going to increase, really, the longer it goes and the longer it stays like this. There goes Callum O'Dowda. That's a good ball. Into space for Alves. Will Alves for Cardiff. He's looking for Salah with the cross. Not as far as Ng. Bae-Jun-ho just getting to it ahead of Kean Ashford. Importantly, has it back again, does Bay here. Now Wouter Burger. Nico battling for it, will probably just about settle for that. Resolve and resilience required in what remains from both of these two sides. It's crying out for a hero from somewhere, but equally nobody wants to be the one to make what could be such a critical mistake in a game like this. Who will be the bravest? He's willing to risk rather more in terms of a rich reward that is on offer for the victor today. Just wanting a word with Youssef Salah. He made his presence felt again this afternoon. Played in every Championship game since his signing in January, 4.5-year contract. Off the bench in the first 6, he's now started 10 on the bounce in the second tier. Burkat forward. Bae Jun-ho takes over. And he's away from Perry Ng. Ashford back defending. And doing so with real diligence there. And utilising the support from NG as those two combine. Turnbull under pressure. NG trying to clear it. Those travelling fans acknowledge the effort from their side. It's the minimum requirement today, though, on an occasion like this. Stoke side who have struggled on their travels. They've won just one of the last 13 outside of the Bet365 in the Championship. 2 wins in 18 away from home. And they come with Million Manhoef, who goes down. He's quickly back on his feet, actually, as Gallagher takes over and takes on Fish. Cross cut out by Alex Robertson. The home side were stretched by Stoke on that occasion. I believe growing a bit, maybe. Looks like it will be the long throw from Junior Chamadou this time. They'll try every route possible, everything at their disposal. Wilmot's up from the back, so too is Phillips. Gallagher is in there as well. Chamadou's throw aimed towards Ashley Phillips, who was the closest to reaching it, but it's cleared away by Cardiff. And Will Alves, if he can keep control of this, may yet spark the counter-attack for them. He's done really well under pressure and was a little unfortunate there, but it didn't bounce back his way. Then battles for it with Chamadou. Frantic fare, isn't it? There's Burkat. Left back popping up on the right wing. Before being somewhat unceremoniously stopped before he could get any further. So Chamadou potentially will try another long throw, but he opts against it this time. Goes back down the line instead to Ashley Phillips. There's Wilmot. Phillips again. And pretty much everything ahead of him. There's Chamadou. Did reach it, it deflected off Darland. It carried through harmlessly enough for Horvath. Cardiff, remember, have drawn their last 3. Stoke City drawn their last 2. The surprise may be that the stalemate remains between them so far today. But there's still plenty of time for that to change. They had to get that one right against Ashford. Provide the home side with the opportunity to make further changes here. Ashford is actually one of those coming off, and Salah as well. It looks like he's going to be replaced. And this double change, Yaku Mete came off the bench to secure a precious late point at Preston here midweek, 4 minutes into stoppage time. He is on again today, and so too is Ollie Tanner. He's on his way back to fitness after a lengthy spell on the sidelines. Hasn't started a game actually since the South Wales derby success against Swansea in January. He's not quite yet where he wants to be in terms of his fitness level, says Omar Ritza. He's on with still over a quarter of the game to go. As is Mete, he's immediately involved in the thick of the action. So too was Tanner. Wasting no time. And stepping into the centre of the story. Turn up the shot. Rather harmlessly in the end was Turnbull. The first of the Cardiff substitutes, introduced a little earlier. Just the one goal to his name so far this season. That one wasn't struck with conviction, was it? His only goal came in the 3-1 defeat here against Blackburn Rovers. Okay, back to Ben Wilmot. Returned by Perry and G. Reach the midway point of this second half now. Still, they can't be split this afternoon. Cardiff will come again and look for Yaku Meta. It's his sixth consecutive appearance off the bench. He's scored in 2 of the last 4 as the Ivorian. By Omar Ritz's own admission this season, hasn't always seen eye to eye with the manager. He's praised his professionalism recently, always training well, making himself available, having an impact when he does call for him, even though he's not utilised him as a regular starter this season. And I certainly still feel that he can have a part to play in what remains from here. Boket for Pei Chun-ho. Chicken charge, but he's not going to get on the end of that one. Put a shift in midfield, Jordan Thompson. Threw so much work in there, he's not the only one. Still the closest to scoring for Stoke with the effort off the bar in the first half. Up for Horvath here. Turnbull, he did have the time to turn and threads it through towards Mete. Guided back by Ashley Phillips. Mete will continue the chase. And O'Dowda to run it back for Cardiff City. Robertson battling for it with Wouter Burger. Hard to hold on to it really in the circumstances. Now Perry and G back for Robertson. Gallagher's won it well against him though. He will get the free kick he was hoping for. There's going to be a yellow card, and I think maybe that had been coming for Alex Robertson, who Stoke felt was fortunate to avoid one at the end of the first half, and he is into the book now. Sam Gallagher, confirmation of his caution.
EFL winner replacement for Stoke City, sponsored by MPN, UPVC Windows, Doors and Conservatories. Resident number 10, Barger Ho, number 11, Lewis Kumas.
So Stoke City change, that's Lewis Kumas. He's going to come on in place of Pei Chun-ho. In that wider role, you would imagine. The teenage Welsh international introduced for Stoke in the Welsh capital. Pei Chun-ho's part is played. Fourth straight game in which Kumas has been called for from the bench, having been a regular starter for much of the season on loan from Liverpool. He's on. It's 20 minutes of the 90. In goes the free kick, out by Chambers. Nearly for Will Alves. He would have had a lot of room to run into. And that ended up at his feet. Better news for these two. The Portsmouth equaliser and added time against Derby. Both of those sides involved in the equation, so I guess a draw would be the ideal result for these two. There's Pompey right back towards the bottom three again. Every goal that goes in this afternoon has such significance on how it currently stands in that bottom eight. This win earlier, meaning they're separated by just 5 points going in to this afternoon's matches. Gallagher conceding the free kick. Robertson is on the receiving end this time. Cardiff unhappy with that one, and out comes the yellow card. He's the second Stoke City centre-forward to go into the book today. He replaced Al Hamadi at half-time. Two is on a yellow from here. And it wasn't a pretty challenge from him, was it? It's that stage of the season where they do have eyes and ears on what is happening elsewhere and all the different ramifications of the results. And most of the other games are, if not already, full-time results about to be. Well behind the rest, of course, because of that first half delay due to the medical emergency. If you weren't with us earlier, that's why we are only at this stage of the game. It was part of proceedings. Digest just what else has gone on elsewhere and what it means for what remains of this contest. But regardless of any of the other scorelines, it all comes down to what happens here for these two. Cardiff goal, they'll go above Stoke City and move out of the relegation zone. Anything else, and they will consider this an opportunity missed in the circumstances against a direct rival. For Stoke, it was maybe must not lose rather than must win. Possibly only just in the circumstances. You never can quite tell, can you? So many surprise results at this stage of this season. One of the most carefully plotted equations out of the window, really, more often than not. Alex Robertson will take the Cardiff City free kick. He's looking for Darland up from the back. The clearance from Wouter Berger wasn't the most convincing, but ultimately it was effective enough in doing what he had to do, and this one breaks for Miljan Manhoef. Little fortunately can he make the most of it. Does have support either side, just delayed the pass a little bit, so it didn't come cleanly for Kumas. Will Fish was able to intervene and clear it away instead. But they were certainly stretched in Cardiff City here, and they would have been culpable given the manner in which Manhoef was able to scamper away. Slight deflection on the intended ball for Lewis Kumas as well. Bocat will take the throw. Flag stayed down here. No. Well, I think he knew it was coming. Lewis Baker. And the ball came his way, just offside. Under that whole City, another side very much in the equation against Mark Robbins' former club Coventry on Monday night. Round off this hugely important EFL weekend. Of Cardiff City changes to come. Isaac Davies and Ruben Colwell are both going to come on for the final 15 of the 90. Chamadou under pressure. Did pretty much all he could with that in the circumstances, and will count himself unfortunate given how it ended up. For the throw will come these substitutions. The young homegrown prospects are going to come on. Davies. Indeed, and Colwell. So Chambers comes off. That's an attacking move to get Ruben Colwell on in his place. In goes the long throw in the meantime and helped goalwards by Fish, but the goalkeeper was right behind it. And Alves, by the way, is the other player that has made way in that double change. There's confirmation of it. Well, reversal, Alves having scored as a substitute in midweek. Also came on Tuesday night, did Isaac Davies. He's played in 9 of their last 10 games now. Another like Ollie Tanner, who's relatively recently returned to fitness, to availability at a key stage of the season. Here is Miljan Manhoef. Baker has made the run. He's not stopped making those today. Berger. by Thompson. None have seen plenty of it at the moment. Trying to provide that spark for Stoke City. Kumas can't kick that in play though. He's just too far in front of him. Nearly but not quite familiar Manhoef once more. So looks to unlock this Cardiff City defence. Who have stood firm for Omar Ritza so far. Aiming for only an 8th championship clean sheet of the campaign, but they do need more at the other end really. Meta. We saw late drama involving both of these sides in midweek, so there is plenty of time for more yet. We've got that precious point at Preston in the 4th added minute. Their second equaliser of the game. Stoke City conceded in stoppage time at home to Luton. There's Callum O'Dowda. Dangerous ball in. Davis trying to strike it. Big block from Ash Phillips. Found himself in the right spot for Stoke to shut the door in time. Callum O'Dowda to deliver again with the long throw. Height and distance on that one. Darlin trying to flick it on. As far as Turnbull. Back by Parry NG. Too much on that. Hansen is unchallenged in claiming it and releasing it quickly for Stoke City, but too much purchase as it turned out. One keeper to the other. There's Ruben Colwill. Cardiff City's hero the last time they met Stoke in the FA Cup. In that 4th round tie, 2 goals and a winning penalty in the shootout for him. Crucial moments of the season unfolding these, really. Isaac Davies. This was Robertson. Parry NG. Forward first time for Colwell to flash it across goal and turned over the top. Isaac Davies just couldn't quite control the finish when it came at him quickly. But from that type of territory, he would have backed himself to score, surely. These substitutes combining for the Bluebirds here. Oh, he should have scored. It's a horror miss, really. Colwell did excellently. And Isaac Davies somehow has put it over the top. He was always stretching to reach it, but just couldn't steer it into the empty net. And how costly that could prove to be for Cardiff City come the conclusion. But today maybe, and possibly as well, the first weekend of May, when the season reaches its climax. And it's Cardiff looking the unlikelier to go on and win it from here today. Yaku Meta can't force a way through those. Shamadou is there. Clearance wasn't a good one. Colwell takes the touch. O'Dowda trying to keep the danger alive. Back with Ruben Colwell. Probably shouldn't have been allowed to come through to him, but he has got the free kick here for Cardiff City. And Stoke City are rattled. Their heads maybe haven't quite cleared yet from the earlier one. Cool heads right now are at a premium when they're most required. The home fans certainly have hope. They are playing their part. Their team are responding. But Isaac Davies, one of their own, who's been with the Bluebirds since the age of 7, found himself in a perfect position to apply the finishing touch and failed to do so. Can they conjure something instead from the set piece here? Robertson again is over it, as he has been for most of the match. In by Robertson, it's a good ball and they can't quite keep it alive far post. Fish was the closest to doing so, just unable to wrap his boot around the ball. Now behind it goes. And they have finished everywhere else in the Championship today, I can tell you. So we know exactly what a goal would mean now to either of these two. G is penalised. Cardiff City are currently where they started, inside the relegation zone, level on points with Derby County just above them. And 2 points in 2 places behind Stoke City. Nothing has changed in that respect.
Substitution for Stoke City, sponsored by MPN, UPVC, Windows and Conservatories. This number 42 million Manhoff, number 2
Julian Manhoff is going to come off for what remains. His replacement, the recently fit again, Lyndon Gooch. A lengthy spell on the sidelines himself, the former Sunderland player. As indeed has Ben Pearson, when he returned to fitness for the first time this season in February. He's going to come on as well in place of Jordan Thompson in midfield. Just to freshen things up for what remains for Stoke City, who are beginning to hang on a little bit, prompting perhaps Mark Robins to make this double move. Thompson still reflecting maybe, or able to do so now on that one that got away, that hit the bar in the first half. Stoke pushing plenty forward for the free kick here. And deep into the Cardiff penalty area. Where's it going to fall? It nearly did so at the feet of Ben Wilmot, but not quite. And brought Phillips up from the back as well. He wasn't far away from reaching it either. Chamadou will launch it in. Having survived a couple of scares at one end, Stoke City now taking their turn to attack, to ask questions of their own. So much going on in the middle. Gallagher and Phillips making their presence felt in towards Wouter Berger as well. He got something on it. Bounced off Phillips, hit Wilmot, bounces in. Oh, it's a huge goal. Stoke City have scored, heading for the final 5 minutes of the 90. The scrappiest of goals to settle a contest in keeping with exactly that. But how it went in matters not. It has gone in and Stoke City celebrate. It's a goal of massive significance at the bottom of the Championship. All came about thanks to Junior Chamadou's long throw, the latest launched in. Phillips was in there. The goalkeeper's attempted clearance, Cannon back beyond him. Came off Phillips first. The final touch was off Will Fish on the line, after Wilmot had sent it his way. Off goalkeeper and defender and in. Cardiff complain, more maybe in hope than expectation. An argument from them that it hit the hand in amongst all of that. But it's the near 2,000 travelling fans from the Potteries that are dreaming of a massive 3 points in the Welsh capital this afternoon. It will go down as the Will Fish own goal. The final touch was his on the line. Not much that he could do about it, not much that he knew about it. But the implications are all too obvious. Forward by Phillips. Well, that changes matters massively. That would provide Stoke City with some vital breathing space with 4 games to go, if they can hold on now to what they have. They're up to 18th on 47 points, 5 clear of Cardiff and the bottom 3. But it's not necessarily the end of the tale today. What a response required now from Cardiff City. How they have to try and pick themselves up and quickly, because they were so close themselves at the other end. Small margins certainly, but there is no room for error at this stage of the season. Another player down as Walter Berger helps it on for Stoke City. Baker reaches it. Back for Berger. Slipping it through towards Kumas. Did well to keep his feet. He had Gallagher in the middle. It didn't quite get that far. It's cut out at the expense of a corner. Stoke currently have Cardiff where they want them. And they'll be in no great hurry here, despite needing to maintain this momentum. All the onus is on those in blue. They haven't won at Cardiff City in the league since August of 2007. 3 draws and 3 defeats in 6 visits to this part of South Wales since then. What a time to change that for those from Staffordshire. And they are so close to doing so when it matters most. They are daring to dream of the result required today. It's been tense, it's been edgy, it's been nervy. It would have been a surprise if it had been anything else. But those Stoke supporters won't care if it stays like this. Some crucial results already earlier today in the Championship. We play on here, of course, because of that medical emergency in the first half, but it has finished everywhere else. Pompey and Derby, another 2 of the relegation foes going head-to-head, ended all square at 2-2. Luton have lost today at home to Blackburn Rovers by a goal to nil. Oxford won by the same score, though, at Sheffield Wednesday to edge further clear themselves. Plymouth having beaten Sheffield United, of course, coming from behind earlier in the day at Home Park. They are closing in on Cardiff as it stands as well. The Bluebirds currently only 2 points off the very bottom of the table, but still just a point short of safety. This would be a difficult blow from which to try and recover. We're in the last minute of the 90, they'll be a bit beyond that, I'm sure. Stoke finally now take the corner kick, which is convincingly cleared by Cardiff as far as Bocat. And he's going to have a go here. Maybe hoping that there was a deflection. Well, there was, but it didn't really help him out too significantly. And we wait to see how much Scott Tallis, the 4th official, is going to indicate on the board. How much longer Cardiff will have to try and rescue something. 6 more minutes from here.
6 minutes of time.
They did score in stoppage time at Deepdale on Tuesday, thanks to this man, Nater. More is required from him as he tries to force his way through. Guarded back, though, by Lyndon Gooch for Johansson to clear, only as far as Fish. Cardiff will come again. Plenty in the penalty area, but the cross, when it came, was too close to the keeper. Johansson able to gather it up. Nater felt maybe he was blocked off just in front of him. He was always going to ask the question. Probably not surprised that he didn't get the answer he wanted. Nor did he. And all of a sudden, a 4-game unbeaten run for Cardiff City becomes a 4-match winless run. Here's the chance for Stoke to wrap it up, maybe. Horvath makes the save to keep out Kumas. He was on it pretty sharply. And then Gooch is in there. The substitutes have freshened things up for Stoke City. And Gavin flicked that on first. It was on target, certainly, from Lewis Kumas. Was heading for the corner, but for the intervention of the goalkeeper. Berger away, battling for it was Colwill. They have to launch it long. Cardiff want the free kick, don't get it. Back it goes to their goalkeeper again. Ethan Horvath here. Phillips rising the highest, under pressure. He gets the decision. Stoke City certainly satisfied with that outcome. And getting closer and closer to the overall outcome that they so desperately desired today. Running on the problems, though, for the home side. Just 4 games to go after this. They're still well within reach of safety. But there could be damaging implications as a result of this scrappy goal. Did it hit the hand of Phillips? That's what Cardiff were claiming. And from that angle, they look to have more of a case, maybe. But it wasn't spotted. It wasn't given. And the inadvertent interventions of Horvath and Fish after Ben Wilmot had sent it goalwards. The Stoke City centre-backs up in the Cardiff penalty area, making their presence felt one way or the other. Chamadou here, though, has lost out. This is Davies. And he was trying to cut it back. He had both Colwill and Mata in the middle. He will have to settle for the Cardiff corner. But if they are beaten today, that miss over the top from Isaac Davis will haunt him and the home side, certainly. That would have put them 1-0 in front at that stage. In goes the corner. It was a decent delivery. It's Turnbull, lofts it in. Phillips gets a touch to it. Mata to try and return it. Fish forward. They've all stayed forward, of course they have, for Cardiff City here. And they will all remain in situ, waiting to try and get on the end of this from Callum O'Dowda. A couple of minutes of stoppage time to play. Baker hooks it partially clear. O'Dowda will get another go. In towards Darland, who was surrounded by 3 in red and white. And Stoke with a chance to further relieve the pressure here. Robertson taking a tumble. You can barely watch. The decision going against Alex Robertson. Well, he was disbelieving, said Mark Robbins, when Luton levelled in stoppage time on Tuesday. Desperate that his side hang on here. There are a few of the Cardiff contingent who have lost hope and are heading for home already. Not many, but we only have a minute of the 6 that were initially added on to play. That is all that separates Stoke City now from such a vital victory here. From only a second away win in 14 in the Championship. Forward by Horvath, repelled by Phillips. And again the whistle goes. It is of such significance. It might be enough to help Stoke City over the line here. There might not be time for Cardiff to launch their one last attack. It was never going to be straightforward, though, was it, today, for anyone? He knows that better than most. Not much he hasn't seen in the managerial game, Mark Robbins. Johansson clears that one away. Anywhere will do for Stoke City at this stage. And they have done it. They've come to South Wales and claimed a massive 3 points to take back to the Potteries, to pull further clear of Cardiff City in the relegation zone. Such a significant success this for Stoke. Hard-earned, certainly. Fortune about the game's only goal, but they will not care. Sometimes that is what is required in a situation that Stoke City have found themselves in this season. A situation eased, certainly, more than somewhat, by the 3 points they've taken today at the expense of a direct rival. Cardiff City remain within touching distance of safety, certainly, but they are still where they started, residing in the relegation zone with one fewer game to go now. Just 4 matches remaining to try and save themselves. Ben Wilmot's effort that went in on first Ethan Horvath and then the final touch on the line off Will Fish late in the game proved to be the strike that ultimately has separated them and put 5 points between the clubs. Stoke City taking a giant stride towards safety. Their job isn't quite done yet, but they are upwardly mobile after 4 games now without defeat. Vital victories in that sequence against Queen's Park Rangers at home, and now for only the 2nd time in 14 games on their travels in the Championship, here at the home of Cardiff City. Rich reward for the near 2,000 travelling fans.